Personal story segment tonight, Hispanic American voters and Donald Trump. The network Univision reaches millions of Spanish-speaking Americans, and its primary anchor, Jorge Ramos, was actually ejected from a Donald Trump rally a few months ago. You may remember that. Mr. Ramos, the author of a big new book called Take a Stand, Lessons from Rebels, and he joins us now in New York City. We've spoken about this before, but now that Univision has really staked out an anti-Trump position as far as immigration is concerned. I don't know what you feel about China or the terrorist stuff, but...
I wouldn't say that, but go ahead.
But, you know, come on. You, as the leader over there, and then there was the lady in the debate. What was her name again? She was good.
Maria Elena Salinas,
yes,
my client.
yes. And her comments were fairly pointed about that Trump has been bullying the immigrants. So now, if he gets a nomination, can you cover him fairly, since you're on the record as saying the guy is an anti-immigrant bigot?
Well, I think we are covering fairly Republicans and Democrats. I think we
but let's Trump himself.
I think we show that we can be tough on Democrats.
Yes, you've shown that.
Questions to Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders. And I think we're really tough on Donald Trump, because what he's saying, we cannot allow racism and discrimination to be normal.
But that's a subjective thing.
No, it isn't.
Well, there are people who know Donald Trump.
When you say that Mexican immigrants are criminals or rapists, that is, for many people, a racist remark.
Okay, but he didn't say all of them were, and I have the quote right here. You want me to read it to you?
Please, of course.
Okay, here's what he said, and he said it to me.
Yeah.
All right? He said, when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. So he's quantifying now who they're sending.
In Mexico, there's not a conspiracy. Mexico is not sending...
Just let me read the quote.
Mexico is not sending...
Let me read the quote, so everybody knows what he said. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and are bringing those problems with them. They're bringing drugs. It's true. There's a big cartel smuggling situation.
They're bringing drugs.
Right?
All Mexicans are bringing drugs. Of course not.
Wait.
Wrong.
They're bringing crime. They're rapists. And some, I assume, are good people.
Exactly. That's absolutely wrong, because the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals and are not rapists.
But he's not talking about all of them.
Let me give you just a couple of examples. The American Immigration Council, they clearly say that immigrants are less likely to be criminals simply because they don't want to get in trouble with the police.
Okay. You can use stats all day long to justify anything, and you know
those are facts.
Just listen to me for a minute. I'm trying to tell you that it's your subjective opinion, not objective opinion, that Trump is a racist. Okay. There are other people who don't think he is, all right? Okay, so I'm not going to get in the middle and say that's a racist, that isn't. What I'm going to do is bring it back to your network. All right, if you, the top guy, has demonized him as a racist, how can you possibly cover him?
I think as a journalist you have to take a stand when it comes to racism.
How can you cover him, Jorge?
Corruption, public lies, dictatorship, and human rights. If you don't take a stand in those instances, then what's our role as journalists? I think you have to be tougher on Donald Trump. You haven't been tough on him.
Listen, I have confronted Donald Trump in ways
how many times have you
that he has told me that I'm unfair, okay? So I'm not going to get into me. I want to bring it back to you.
You've talked to him so many times, and you...
Yeah, tonight, before you.
Sean Hannity, you let him get away with everything.
No. I don't get to let him get away with anything. I confront him.
Everything.
That's not true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at the transcripts and everything he's done. I have asked him about it.
When it comes to immigration, he talks about a wall, and then...
I favor a wall.
And then you...
Wait. Am I a racist for favoring the wall?
No, it's not.
I favor a wall, and you know why?
But you let him get away with
No, I don't get to let him get away with anything. I favor the wall.
It's a 1,900 miles wall, and then 40% of immigrants, they come by plane or with a visa. So
and that's got to be tightened up.
So what's the purpose of building a wall?
To keep tons of narcotics out of this country.
More Chinese.
That's the purpose.
More Chinese.
You're ignoring
from India are coming than from Mexico.
I'm answering your questions. You're totally ignoring me.
No,
You're blowing me up.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm just saying that you're not being tough on Donald Trump.
All right, that's your opinion. The wall keeps narcotics out. The cartels that control Mexico are wreaking havoc on our population.
You know El Chapo. I mean, you have a wall, and then he built tunnels.
All right, fine. Let him build tunnels, then he'll get dirty.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to tell you
is, I'm
going to bring it back to
you. A wall is not a solution. Go ahead.
Univision.
Yes.
How can you possibly... You guys, what you're going to have to do is every time you mention Donald Trump, you're going to have to put on the screen, we think he's a racist. so that people know that
you just said that. But let me just give you some information. 81% of Latinos, according to the
now
Washington
we got the
Post.
stats again.
No, 81% of Latinos have a negative opinion of Donald Trump. Many of them despise Donald Trump.
But that's partly because of you.
No, that's not because of me, because of what he said.
All right. I'm not promoting Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form,
but
and I think Hispanic Americans...
You can be tougher on him, and you haven't been tough on him.
That's fine. I want you and Univision, because you're so influential in those precincts, to explain, and I'll give you the final chance, how you can possibly cover this man in a fair way if he's a Republican nominee. You can't.
Because we are doing exactly the same with the Democrats. I think we're being tough on
you called Hillary Clinton a racist?
No, but we have asked questions on Hillary Clinton that she doesn't like.
But you've come to conclusions about Trump.
It's not a matter of conclusions. I don't know what's in his heart, but I know what is coming out of his mouth. And what he said about Mexican immigrants is wrong. What he said about women is unacceptable. And what he said about Muslims is simply un-American.
All right, but that's your opinion.
She had a great question to him, right, about women.
Yes, I thought those were valid questions, absolutely.
Fantastic questions.
But you remember,
she's been tough.
You're not like me, and we went this route the last time. You're not a commentator. You're an anchor man, hard news guy. But you've demonized him.
But I'm not partisan. I'm just independent.
I want to give your book a plug. Can I do that?
Please.
You know, you don't have any more stats you want to give us?
No.
Let me give you the plug. Okay. I've read about a third of Jorge's book, and it's good. It's good because it's provocative. He tells you straight up what he thinks, and he's talking about guys like Castro, the Sandinistas, the Bushes, both presidents. Obama. Yeah. It's good. All right? Fair?
Thank you so much.
All right. Adios, amigo.
Adios, amigo Bill.